Okay. All right. So welcome everyone. Thank you all for coming to our October webinar. Today we're going to be talking about our the Safe Routes to School activity kits that are going to be available this year. Nora will go through what the kits are, what their purpose are, what's included in them, how to order them. And then we also have Jack here from Springfield who will be talking a little bit about how they used the kits last year. So without further ado, we can get going.
Okay, thanks, Indigo. Okay, so I'll be taking us through a presentation all about the activity kit, ordering process, what's in the kits, etc. And then we'll hear from Jack. But first, we're going to start off with a little icebreaker chat, or chat, icebreaker in the chat, which is if you could choose any movement-based activity to commute by, what would it be? And if you want to also share your name, where you're zooming in from, where in the state you're calling in from, that would be great as well. You can think creatively here. So it can really be any movement-based activity: swimming, flying, water skiing, paddleboarding. I don't know why I'm thinking of water sports. Dancing, skipping. So yeah, feel free to introduce yourself in the chat and share. You could choose any movement-based activity in the world to commute by. L'Oreal says walking. Ah, skiing would be really fun. Oh, paddleboarding. I recently heard about someone who's going to incorporate paddleboarding into her commute. Kayaking would be really fun. Flying too. Okay, well, feel free to keep adding your thoughts there, and I'm gonna move along. Yeah, like I said, we'll hear about the activity kit program. We'll hear from Jack. We'll have time for questions, and then Indigo will have a bunch of announcements from the statewide program at the end. Also throughout, feel free to add your questions to the chat. There's going to be a lot of information, so add them to the chat. Indigo will keep track of them, and we'll make sure that we get to them. So just starting kind of generally, what are the ODOT Safe Routes to School activity kits? So these are free. Yes, they are free kits of materials to start or build Safe Routes to School programming. So really all of the materials are meant to encourage safety, visibility, fun in various programs. So the types of programs that these kits support are crossing guards, walking school buses, bike buses, and circulation, meaning the flow of bikes, peds, vehicles, etc., on and around your school. This picture is just from last year when I was delivering a bunch of the kits, including to Jack in Springfield. And I didn't think to take a picture until the end, but the car was like filled to the brim with these backpacks, and it was really fun. I felt like Santa or something, just dropping these off around the Willamette Valley mostly. But yeah, so those are the 4 types of kits we'll have available, same as last year, but we're making some changes to the contents of the kits as well as the process, the ordering process. So I'll just kind of talk through why each kit, and then also what's in each one before getting into the ordering details. So when it comes to crossing guard kits, yeah, we wanted to put this one out there just because crossing guards are such important community members. They're out there in the elements, in the cold, in the wind, in the rain, and we wanted to provide materials that if you have existing crossing guards that you want to pamper with some nice high visibility, waterproof materials. This is a really nice gesture to show them that their work is important. Also, the Oregon Department of Education has requirements for crossing guards, so we've adapted all of our materials to be in line with those requirements. So that's another perk. You don't have to worry about doing any of that research. And then in terms of what is in these kits for crossing guards, they include a high visibility vest, a high visibility rain poncho, a beanie, high visibility gloves, and a stop sign on a 6-foot paddle that's compliant with the state requirements. And you'll see Megan and Ellen here from Lane County holding one of the stop signs. It's not on the pole yet, but we had a lot of fun playing around with the crossing guard materials when I dropped them off. The next type of kit that I'll chat about is the walking school bus kit, and you'll hear more about how Jack utilized this kit in his programs. I think most of you know, but just as a reminder, walking school buses are adult-led groups of students walking together to school, and these happen sometimes weekly, sometimes monthly, sometimes quarterly, whatever it is for your school. It's just an organized way of encouraging walking to school. So the materials in this kit really help to encourage visibility and fun, and even something as simple as a banner that the kids get to hold is a really nice way to create a sense of pride and excitement for the routine of coming together and being a part of the walking school bus. So, or daily in Oriel's case. Sometimes walking school buses happen daily. That's amazing. So what's in the walking school bus kits? These include 2 adult vests that have our statewide logo on them, 10 child-size high-vis vests. That is a new addition to the kits this year based on feedback and requests that we got last year. 10 light-up backpack keychains. That's also a new element. First aid kit, 200 walk and roll stickers to give out, a banner that you can see modeled in this picture that Jack is holding, 2 beanies, 2 rain ponchos, a Bluetooth speaker, and a spiral bound how to do a walking school bus guide. So a couple things to note. All these materials, actually in all of the kits, are intended to be reused. So we provide you with a backpack so that it's easy to just collect the materials that you've given out for students to use, collect them, store them in the backpack. They're not to be giveaways, and this is pretty important. It's part of like why we're doing this and part of the funding requirements. None of these, except for the stickers, are meant to be given away for students to keep. So making sure that you have a system for how you're collecting your materials at the end is important. In terms of the numbers of types of materials in here, you'll notice there's like 10 child vests, 10 keychains. We're assuming here that 10 is sort of like the average number of students that might be in a walking school bus. If you have consistently more participants than that, just talk to us. You may be able to order more kits, or we may be able to help supplement some additional materials into your kit that you're ordering. So just add that into the form where it asks for additional information, and we're happy to work with you if you do consistently have more than 10. Bike bus kits. So similar to walking school buses, these look different at different schools, but really just a way to develop routine and community around biking to school. So similarly, adult-led group. So here too, we are assuming approximately 2 adult leaders and 10 participants. Of course, this may vary, so please talk to us if you're in a situation that requires more materials. But the kit materials for the bike bus kit include 2 high visibility vests for adults, 10 child size vests, 10 sets of red and white rechargeable bicycle lights, first aid kit, walk and roll stickers, spoke cards that are little laminated cards that can go in the spokes of the bikes, a Bluetooth speaker, 2 adult rain ponchos, and a spiral bound bike bus how to ride. Okay, the last kit that I'll talk about here is the circulation kit. So this one's a little different than the rest of them for a few reasons that I'll get into. But circulation, when I say that word, I'm talking about the circulation of bikes, peds, cars, scooters, everything that people might be taking to school. And one of the most common challenges that we hear about is just like a chaotic situation with all of these vehicles and people coming together in the same place at the same time. So the circulation kit is meant to be a way of sort of organizing your school grounds so that really ultimately so that it's safer and easier for people to choose walking and rolling, but also to potentially separate different modes, potentially block off the street for like you see here pictured in Hood River, blocking it off just for bikes and peds. There's many ways to use these materials, but that's really the goal, is just to like more organization around pickup and drop off. So another reason why these kits are different is that we got some feedback last year that people would have liked to, everyone that ordered circulation kits didn't necessarily need all of the materials in the kit. So we're developing a new system where for the circulation kits, you can pick and choose what you want. So it's a point-based system. If you've ordered incentives with us before, you're probably familiar with Lindsay's system, where you can order up to a certain number of points and each material is worth a certain number of points. So that's what we're doing here. You'll see more about that in the order form, but basically, yeah, each material is worth a certain number of points and you can order up to 100 points. So you can choose based on what your situation is, what you're wanting to do with your space. The materials that you have to choose from are high-vis vests, traffic cones, sandwich chalkboard, like A-frame board, chalk pens, directional signs with stakes that go into the ground, directional stencils that are quite large. So that's really important to know if you're ordering stencils. They're like parking lot sized left and right stencils, spray paint for the stencils, and then a circulation guide. I'm going to pause for a second because I see a question from Jessica. So Jessica says it would be wonderful to provide the walking school bus kit to a walking school bus lead from a low-income apartment complex with 14 students at Cathedral Park Apartments. Is it a drawing that determines who gets a kit? Jessica, what do you mean by drawing? Oh, do you mean like how is it determined who gets a kit?
Yes.
Good question. I will get into that soon.
I didn't mean to answer. Thank you.
No, it's okay. Great. Yeah. Okay, so circulation kit, I wanted to provide a couple of examples of how you might assemble a circulation kit. So 3 options here. The first one in green being like basically what was everything that was in our kit last year. So like a classic, like little bit of everything type of kit. And each of these does equal 100 points. So you get a sense of like what's possible here. So for this green classic here, you'll see a vest, 4 traffic cones, a sandwich chalkboard, chalk pen, directional signs, stencils, and spray paint equals 100 points. Another option in the blue here, no permanent paint. So this is like if you knew you didn't want to do any spray painting with stencils or anything like on the parking lot, but you just wanted materials that you can like put up and take down, you might do 2 vests, 8 traffic cones, 1 sandwich chalkboard, 2 chalk pens, 3 directional signs. A third option in the orange here, more signage based, If you, just knew you wanted to do a lot of like directing different modes to different areas or creating like one ways or something like that. An option that gets you to 100 points there is set of directional stencils, spray paint, 1 spray paint, 4 sets of directional lawn signs, and 6. L'Oreal's question in the chat. So she's wondering if the 100 points is per school. Yes, that's right, per school. Okay, so a little bit more, I wanted to dive into the circulation kit just a little bit more because it can be one of the more confusing ones in terms of how it's actually used. So some ideas, and this image here is just a circulation plan. So you have a little bit more of a visual of like how traffic and vehicles and bikes and peds may be organized. But in terms of how you can integrate some of the materials, you can use cones to narrow the street and encourage safe speeds that way. Cones can also be used as curb extensions to create shorter crossings for pedestrians. The directional signs obviously can direct traffic in different ways. As you might expect, it's also helpful to have a person standing there too, especially if it's new and you're just putting the signs out there for the first time. Signs can also help to create temporary one-ways, cones too. And the chalkboard, of course, can just include, it can serve as a directional sign as well, or it can have safety information or directions on it. So tips for success, really with these kits, we are hoping that they can be ways to keep programs going over time, like giving you what you need, giving you reusable materials that can continue to be integrated into programs. So tips for that, really remembering to collect the materials at the end of each event, storing the kit, storing all of the materials in the backpacks, or if you have multiple backpacks, storing those all into a bin, to not lose track of the items over time. I heard from some people last year that they were developing a check-in and check-out system with volunteers or staff. I know some of you are coordinators and you may be managing the kits, but lending them out to parents or teachers that are leading school buses, for example. So in that situation, it would be important to establish some expectations and figure out a system for loaning out. Most of the items are meant to be reused. Like I said, really the stickers are the only thing that we give you a bunch of so that you can give them out for kids to keep. And then another important tip is just order only what you need. For example, 1 walking school bus kit for 1 10-student walking school bus group. If you order optimistically and end up with like 5 bike bus kits, but you haven't even started a bike bus yet, you're stuck with a lot of materials to manage. So I would really try to be realistic about what you're ordering and order materials for what you can realistically take on and what you realistically have going on already. Okay, so here's the nitty-gritty details. There's a survey, basically, through Qualtrics. There's a QR code here. I activated the survey this morning, so if you want to scan the code now, you can. It's also on a couple more slides, so if you don't get it on this slide, don't panic. We'll also email it out. The ordering will be open from today until a month from now, Friday, November 15th. And then after that, we'll be processing the orders. I'll tell you on the next slide how we're selecting folks, but we'll be processing the orders and selecting people before the end of the year. And then it will be in the spring that we'll be delivering them. So we'll be building the kits and communicating with you all in the start of the new year and then distributing them in the spring. So the survey includes lots of different information, but basically contact information, what you're planning to do with the kits, a little bit about the schools and communities that it's serving, and what exactly you're requesting. And of course, if you have like special considerations you want us to know about your programs, like for example, you have a lot more students participating in a walking school bus than 10, please just type out some narrative in the additional information box. So in terms of how we're selecting folks for these, you're eligible, really, most people are eligible. So if you work for a city agency, a school district, a school, if you're a coordinator, a parent volunteer, I will say parent volunteers, just make sure that you've coordinated with your school before ordering, so there's no big surprises there. In terms of who gets priority for these kits, we are hoping to prioritize folks who didn't receive kits last year. It doesn't mean you're ineligible. If you got some last year, you're welcome to still fill out the form, but we will first look through who didn't receive any last year. And then if you're not currently funded by ODOT Safe Routes, your application will be prioritized. And then additional equity criteria, including Title I, schools with a high social equity index, which is an ODOT classification that you can send out more information about. And then schools with a high percentage of low-income students. Okay, so I will pause there actually before we transition to Jack and just see if anyone has questions so far. Jessica asks, can you order one of each kit? Sure. We don't have caps really right now on how many kits you can order, but we want you to be realistic about what you're requesting. So if you really think you can utilize one of each, you're welcome to request one of each. It's not guaranteed that you'll get it. We have to sort through everything, a whole spreadsheet tracking all the orders, but you're welcome to request one of each for sure. And you're also welcome to make a case in the additional information about how it can be useful, and if you definitely have like needs for each of them, feel free to explain. Any other questions? Okay. I'm going to pass it off to Jack, who's going to talk a bit more about how he used the walking school bus kits recently.
All right. Hi, everybody. My name is Jack Blashishin. I'm the Safe Routes to School coordinator in Springfield, Oregon, right next door to Eugene. I currently have 3 walking school buses that meet once a week, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. I don't do Monday and Friday because I need to be able to take time off if I need to. So I have 3, that's kind of my max limit, unless some school were to magically appear that can totally do it by themselves. But here's a couple of pictures of my walking school bus at Guiley Elementary. It's one of our most low-income and most diverse schools in the school district, and they support it really strongly with the assistant principal comes every single week. They have crossing guards across this big arterial road that they're on. And here's a picture of us utilizing the walking school bus kit. So I supplemented it with high-vis vests, and you can see the banner that's in the kit. And it's really convenient to have the kit because I can leave it with the assistant principal and he brings it to the walking school bus and I just meet him out there. So he also brings the school flag, so that way we are kind of like a state sanctioned walking crossing guard, which I'm not 100% sure that you're allowed to do that, but I think that you are, as long as it's a school flag. So we kind of create our own crossings. Can we move on to the next slide? This is at another school, Maple Elementary School. Actually, Indigo started this walking school bus, I believe, in 2019. Is that right, Indigo? Yeah, so this,
All right, that's so fun. It's still going.
yeah, it's still going. That's Misty Acker right there, the PE teacher, in the photo on the right. And so it's Misty Acker, the dean of students of that school, and I that meet every week. And that's a little bit higher attendance than a normal week, just because that was walk and roll to school week. But it is close to that every week. It's about 10 to 12 students on a weekly basis. And we promote it as join Miss Acker every week, Tuesday morning on the walking school bus. So that's in its third year right now. Or maybe fourth year, actually, if we count Indigo's. Third year with me doing it. Here's a picture I took of the kit. I forgot to include the speaker. I left that in the side pocket of the backpack, but imagine that there's a little Bluetooth speaker in there. So you can see there's the banner that's nice and bright, and it has Strider and Viv on there. There's the walking school bus toolkit, another walking school bus toolkit, kind of two of them, and two high-vis vests, a first aid kit, and a hat, and then some little high-vis tags. So I guess next year's we'll have a lot more high-vis vests for students to wear as well. And were there other items, Nora?
Light up, because I think this little yellow thing down here next to the tag of the kit, I think those are the keychains that we gave last year that were reflective, but this year we're doing actual light up backpack clips because
Okay.
of because of requests from people last year. So I think that's the main
And
change.
stickers. I'm not sure if stickers were in the kit last year.
They were.
They were, okay. I must have given them out already.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what's in the kit. We've been using them. We have 3 schools that are doing that on a regular basis. 2 of them are really successful. One of them is struggling. The one that's struggling is struggling because they don't give us staff to go on the walking school bus. So it's just safe routes to school staff, which don't work at the school, obviously. So it's a little bit different asking a adult that the kids don't know, asking parents to, send their kids with an adult that the kids don't necessarily know. So I'd say that's the difference, but the walking school bus kits definitely help. And the banners are great. I'd say that's definitely the most popular item in the kit. Kids really like holding the banner, and we have them take turns holding the banner. It's great. And the music as well. The speakers really help too. Haven't had to use the first aid kit yet.
That's good. Jack, I have a question for you. Did you get one kit last year, and then just like bring it to the different schools, or did you have more than one kit that you were taking, that like you left at each school?
I left the kits at each school. So I got multiple kits. I think Nora delivered 6 kits. So I was one of those people who was a little ambitious. But I wanted to have extras so that if other schools start or are interested in starting a walking school bus, I could leave a kit with them. And for example, like Maple, they have 2 adult staff that they send from the school. If another school wanted to start one on a Tuesday, I could say, hey, Maple, you got it without me, and then I could join the other school and use a 4th kit. So it's nice to have a couple extras, but don't order extras.
I don't think we had any guidance around that last year, Jack. So
Okay.
so you were just doing what you were excited about doing. Question for Jack from Nicole. What's done to promote the route? Oh, so that was something Jack wanted to include in the presentation. I told him, just stay on the activity kit materials only. So we have extra time. We could get into that. I think also, Nicole, we're gonna do like a full-on walking school bus, like how to, like, I know you have your own, but we're gonna do like a more detailed walking school bus webinar at some point. And Jack will be a person that we have sharing because he has a lot of great tips and stories. But without going too far down the rabbit hole about how to run a walking school bus, Jack, do you want to speak to Nicole's question just a little bit on promoting the route?
Yeah, so I use Canva, I make a map with the stops along the way, and there are like 5 stops. It's not a super long route, it's like 0.7 miles. And it's in color, it has a map, it has the route on there, and there's a description of what a walking school bus is and all of the stops along the way and what times they pick up at and what times they depart. So, and then that's also in Spanish. I send that to the schools. I ask them to promote it in their internal newsletter and to send it just as much as they can to like periodically send it out and promote the walking school bus. And that seems to work to attract enough students to come on the walking school bus. I don't think we pick up everybody who lives along the route, but we do pick up a few people. And some people drive just because their kids want to go on the walking school bus. At one of our schools, Guiley Elementary, which was the first photos that you saw, we actually have the route follow an existing school bus route. So on days when it's the walking school bus, that school bus driver offers to the kids that they can go on the walking school bus if they want to. So he announces it in the bus, and actually on Walk and Roll this school day, we had almost the whole bus of kids choose to go with us. So that was pretty fun. And we're allowed to do that because in my district, I am supervised by the operations manager who oversees the whole school bus transportation program. And because of that, we're a real school bus. We're not like we're not a dinky little program in terms of like how it's presented. We have the same kind of like backing from the district as a school bus. And so when kids go on a school bus and they're considered like at school already, they can be transferred to our school bus and they're still at school, they're still with supervised school staff, and it's all okay. We just have to, obviously make sure we don't lose the kids along the way to school. So that's cool to have that backing.
Jack, I'm wondering if you might be able to upload that, the flyer that you use, if you could upload it to Basecamp. That way other coordinators
Sure.
can see it as a model. Are you on Basecamp?
I'm on the Metro Basecamp.
Yeah,
I have
that's the one.
I have that saved. Okay.
I also made a note to include it in the follow-up email, so we can send that out because Jack sent that to us earlier.
Cool. Great. Well, thank you so much, Jack, for sharing a bit about how you use these and a bit about your walking school bus. I'm curious before we move on. Yeah, before we move on to that, is there anyone else on the call that got kits last year that wants to share anything about how they were used, the impact they had?
I could share one thing. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. So L'Oreal City of Tigard, I had a walking school bus kit. And I don't know if I've used it properly, but I have a parent who's organized a daily walking school bus. So it was really great to be able to provide her with some resources and tools. The route that she's walking is, it is the official safe route place to walk, but it's not great. And we have an infrastructure grant to get sidewalks in, but being able to provide her some high-vis stuff was helped her confidence in walking the route. And yeah, so just, I just thought it was really great to be able to support a parent who was really committed to doing this. And she didn't feel so alone in the process. So yeah, it was good.
Great, excellent example. Yeah, really good to hear that it was empowering and useful for that parent. Thanks, L'Oreal. Nicole?
Yeah, hi. Real quick, I think it's good that you're kind of saying to be realistic, and I like the timing of getting the kits out and after the application deadline and everything, just because I'm thinking about the circulation kit I have that, I got one of each just to have one to put out there in my area, and like transportation departments most specifically were like, thanks, but no thanks. So yeah, those are big stencils, but and then sometimes schools are hesitant to do something, without the blessing of the transportation district. So anyway, but so yeah, just yeah, be realistic and kind of have your commitment, I think, before you jump to order too much.
Totally. Yeah, very good point. And hub leads are available to help if you need help with like figuring out like who to talk to in your district. If you really want to do some circulation stuff, but you don't know where to start or who to talk to, feel free to reach out to your hub lead and we can help you navigate that. Julia.
I just wanted to share out a little bit about how our program in Beaverton used the kits last year. Yeah, so we really were thrilled to have them, especially to give to our new volunteers for onboarding. It just made it really quick and easy, and we could be confident that they had everything that they need to get started. So we were just really pleased to have that. And we also loved the consistency in our branding. So having the option of having everybody have a sign that looks similar made it a really inviting thing and made it feel less exclusive too, because the messaging on the sign was so welcoming. And yeah, our leaders also really enjoyed the Bluetooth speakers. A lot of them hadn't ever had music on their walks, and so that really kind of opened up a whole new like kind of energy for them. So yeah, we really appreciated all of the work that went into them. Thank you.
Thanks, Julia. Yeah, glad to hear it. So it sounds like from various people, the branding consistency in the branding is useful. Having something to pass off to others. It sounds like a lot of you have kind of gotten programs going and then had a parent or another principal or someone that's leading. And so being able to just provide them with what they need has been useful too. So yeah, thanks everyone for chiming in. That's a variety of stories. Anyone else, either experiences with the kits or questions? Okay. Well, of course, this isn't your last time to ask questions, so feel free to reach out at any point to myself or Indigo or Lindsay, or info at Oregon Safe Routes is currently, we're having some technical difficulties, so I would recommend reaching out to myself, Indigo or Lindsay if you have questions for now. And then I think the last thing on our list here is just passing it back to Indigo to talk through some announcements.
Great, thank you. Yeah, so just to wrap up here, we've got some exciting things coming up this Thursday, the 17th from 10 to noon. We have our equity training, which is understanding and interrupting ableism. There's still time to register for that. This is a online training, and I'll also note that it's going to be a pretty hands-on online training. So it's not necessarily a training to have in the background as you're doing something else, if you are interested in doing that. We have our November webinar coming up on the 12th from 10 to 11. and we're gonna be talking about community rides in bike safety programming, how to plan them successfully, the importance of them, and have a little time to workshop how to make community rides become incorporated into more bike safety programming throughout the state. We also have Ruby Bridges Walk to School Day coming up on the 14th of November. We'll have the incentives. The incentives are open right now, and if you order by November 7th, we can guarantee that you'll have the incentives by the 14th. And I'll include the order form for that in the follow-up to this email or to this webinar. In our hub meetings in November are going to be a National Safe Routes to School Conference share out. So next week is the national conference in Fort Collins. So we're encouraging folks who attended the conference to come talk about what they learned, what they liked, things that was interesting to them. And then it's also an opportunity for us to keep the conversation going for folks who are not able to go out to Fort Collins next week. We also have from ODOT, we have some Halloween social media materials about being safe and being seen on Halloween. Here's an example of one of the graphics. There's quite a few, and there's some little movies as well. So we'll just share out the link to access that to share on all of your social media. And then finally, we have a mini video contest that if you send in a video by the 31st of you'll have a chance to win a prize pack for walk and roll goodies to share with your school. And I can, again, in the follow-up email to this, I'll have the email to send that video to. Nora, do you have anything else you want to add?
I don't think so. Lindsay, anything from you? I don't know if she's there.
I'm curious about the video. Can you say more about what is there like a theme or something?
Oh yeah, it doesn't say on here.
Oh, sorry.
Indigo will send out more guidance, but we're just putting together like a compilation of really short clips from people around the state saying, I think the prompt is,
The prompt,
what is it?
How Safe Routes has impacted your community and what Safe Routes means to you.
So you pick one of those.
Yeah.
And just 10 to 20 seconds. So it's like a sentence or two. And then we're going to put a whole bunch of those together to make like a 2 to 3 minute long video. So you can, you can interview, like if students are able to be filmed, you can have them share. You can send in a bunch of clips if you want to include people in your community as a part of it. It doesn't just have to be the coordinator.
Thanks for that, Jack. I didn't really give a whole lot of information there at all, so I appreciate the prompt. Yeah, but I think that's everything. And just to reiterate what Nora was saying, if any questions do come up about the activity kits, just reach out to your hub leader, and we're happy to help with figuring out what kits you want to order, how you want to do all of that. Any questions, we're happy to answer them. So thank you all for coming today, and we will see you next month on the 12th for our community ride bike safety programming webinar. Have a great rest of your week.